This is Brownies.
For the first time in 800 years, we're all back in the studio. It's Brownies podcast. We got Campbell, we got JB, we got BP.
It's exciting.
How's your road trip, brother, to your uncle's funeral, real quick?
Yeah, it was Billy Pickens, who was my uncle and my godfather, the Collingwood legend. It was a great send-off for him. A lot of Collingwood people down there. Peter Moore spoke magnificently at his funeral service.
Bristle
on
there?
behalf of Collingwood. Bristle was there, had a couple of beers with Bristle.
Yes!
Dennis Banks was there. I didn't
Banksy,
realise that
yep.
Dennis Banks, still in good nick too, Banksy. You wouldn't mind still standing
The Banksy.
behind him if he got in a pub brawl, I reckon.
Wait, more on Bristle. I need something, man.
Bristle was on fire.
Was he knocking him back?
He was knocking him back.
Another
I'll tell you
question.
what, yes.
I know I got a lot.
Okay.
Was there beer froth in that moustache, man?
Yeah, there absolutely was.
Shit.
I just wanted to get over there and kiss him, the great man. And to see him Friday night, not 24 hours later,
Yeah.
when he was actually still in, I thought, geez, he's recovered remarkably, Bristle.
Yeah.
Looked like Alphonse Gangitano on the boundary before the game down there. Where was it? I know. Sorry, it was Melbourne versus Collingwood, of course, on the Friday night.
He tripped doing a piece to camera.
What?
In the stands and nearly went over the.
We can't lose Bristle.
Imagine that.
Yeah,
He might have been still a little bit
went
dusty.
arse over.
But on the trip home, boys, I listened to the podcast. Magnanimous performance. Magnificent.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, it wasn't the
Dog was on
same
fire.
without you here, but it's like the
beer.
awesome foursome trying to row with just three of us,
three
and
of
obviously
us.
Brody
Lay
being
down,
the
Sally.
cocks.
Lay down, Sally.
Yeah, lay down, Sally.
Hey, but speaking of BT, let's count how many wows he launched after D's Collingwood. Breathtaking stuff. How many?
It's good commentary, that.
How many wows? Was that 5 or 6 in a row?
Sounds like when I was coming back from the bar with a few Carlton draft cans in my hand.
Oh, Brownie! Wow.
Wow, hey.
Hey, all right. Speaking of that game, do you heads respect Collingwood yet?
I do now.
John.
I'm a believer.
Absolutely I do, because they just know how to get it done in the close games. And Melbourne, I really thought they flexed the week before against Fremantle, and they should have been a long way up. But Collingwood just believes. They've got this unbelievable spirit about them at the moment. Craig McRae's really invigorated them, and they play a quicker brand of football.
And their
more exciting
efficiency,
brand.
JB, inside forward 50.
Yeah.
Like, because if you looked at the raw numbers, you'd say Collingwood can't possibly be winning this game with the amount of inside 50s and they got beaten clearances. But every time they went inside 50, they hit the scoreboard.
They did, yeah. And they're tough.
Oh.
I loved it. Braden Maynard.
Maynard.
Oh, how good's that?
Oh,
He
Neil
looked like
Bullen.
Rocky Balboa.
Bang!
Bang! It was a cracking
That
hit.
tackle to start on Langdon, and then the boys saw it was Langdon, and 3 and 4 jumped on
Oh,
top.
I loved it.
Jesus.
Just set the tone, didn't
They
it?
did, yeah. It was fair. It was probably the best game of the year, I thought. Home and away game. It was fantastic to see, but they play with a great spirit. And Mason Cox, he's reinvigorated.
Brother!
Like, honestly, I reckon when Craig McRae saw him in the locker room one day and said, mate, I've spoken to Peter Dutton. If you don't lift, you'll be kicked out of the country. There'll be no citizenship for you. And since then, mate, he lifted. He's got citizenship. He's now become...
Let's credit the speed dealer Sonny. Since those Sonnies went on his head,
Yeah, that's a good point.
he has not looked
I
backwards.
said on
Well,
this
since
podcast,
Lethal Question, that was a fashion statement.
I said on the podcast months ago that I think there should be a movie about him, an Amazon movie or whatever you want to make it.
Who plays him? Who is cast as Cox?
Oh, jeez.
Sounds like a soft porn movie. You put it like that.
Cox.
I don't know who cast him.
Denzel Washington.
Denzel Washington.
I think
Yes,
would
bro.
be phenomenal.
Obvious choice as
Yes,
well.
it is.
Denzel Washington.
But he's still playing some really good footy, and he's been an important part of their sort of, not resurgence, but
But I
their
think
form.
the most important part about that game is that I think here at Brownie's podcast we had a small wager on the game.
It was
that
a
not?
poem, wasn't it?
Yeah. Now, the terms were a heartfelt poem. So, look, whatever you're about to do, if this is a clip, you've gone against what the bet was.
So I thought that the D's would win so comfortably that the line was 17.5. I said they'll easily cover that. Dino said, mate, what will you give me? I think I gave you 20, so I gave you an extra couple of points.
Did.
He was adamant, though, that they would win, the Pies, and I was strong the other way. So
They shouldn't have. They should have been 6 down at half time. Game
Everyone
over.
says that, but they've been getting the job done, and no one was respecting them,
Correct.
including you, pundit.
And so I am a man of my word.
Yes.
I sat up till late last night. I was trying to stay up and watch Peter Bowl run. I wasn't sure that he was running at 4:30 in the morning.
Oh, jeez, you've had plenty of time then to do
But I've written this. So this is Banjo Dogginson.
Oh, wrong sound effects. We need something a bit better than that.
Come on, Banjo.
Okay, so this is Banjo Dogginson. Dino, I was wrong. Words I never thought I would have to utter. You've done your money on Friday night if you were having a little flutter. Melbourne are the reigning premiers, and I thought they'd be too strong. When you were so adamant Pies could win, I thought you'd had too many hits from your bong. Halfway through the third quarter, I was smiling before it turned into a debacle. I'm now sadder than Prince Harry, who's realised he has to spend the rest of his life with Meghan Markle.
Good work.
They are
Dog.
so well drilled, structured, organised, and dripping in so much class.
Dripping.
So basically the exact opposite of Splendour in the Grass.
This is topical.
It's been a long time coming, and I haven't been very clever. Tipping against the Pies this season. Will I learn, ever? They've won 11 in a row now, and done it on pure ticker. Every time they won a close one, they left me in the opposition a little sicker. Every time they won again, you think it's no big deal. But this season they've come from behind more than the great Lexington Steel.
Right on.
Oh,
Right on.
wow.
Right on.
Oh, that's
right on.
that's touching.
I like
Is that topical?
That's nice. That's nice.
Kicking goals after the siren. It's starting to get silly. But we will never forget the win against Essendon thanks to that kick from Billy.
Yes.
They're forward 50. That's amazing. They never miss their goal shooting. They're more accurate and taken more scalps than Vladimir Putin.
Oh, wow. Real topical.
But a promise is a promise, so Dino, this is for you.
Yeah.
To all the Pies fans out there, sorry. I'm sorry I didn't have faith. You're in the top 4 and you can absolutely win the premiership race. If you do, no doubt you'll celebrate with a bottle of Moe and fly to party. And fly to Bali and party like Jordan De Goey.
Yes.
So there it is. I'm sitting back eating humble pie, admiring the way they are being coached by our little man Fly. So Dino, get the Coke can out and pack it nice and tight.
Yes.
Light it up and hit that bong with all your goddamn might.
Yes.
Oh, well done. That deserves a round of applause.
Yes, put it here. Thanks, mate.
Also,
What's his name? What's your name?
Banjo Dogginson.
Banjo
What do you think
Dogginson.
about that?
how long was that?
Yeah,
That
it was a
like
bit
half
longer
a
than
novel.
than you
He
anticipated.
sounded stressed when I rang him last night. He had the kids. There was a bloody mess going on in the background. I don't know where Jess was, but he said to me, I've got to get this poem
Dog, that was
on
good
a piece
shit.
of paper.
Yeah,
That was
beautiful.
good
just,
shit.
just one thing I'll pick you up. Since when does a Collingwood supporter drink Moe?
Good
Well,
point.
it was the only
Good point.
word I could get that rhymed with De Goey.
All right. Carlton. Were they seriously 10-2 earlier this year? I
They
can't
were.
remember.
They were, yeah, they were flying.
Jesus.
They've been
Wheels are
cruelled-
falling off.
They've been cruelled by injury all year. They've been able to get by, especially when those key defenders were injured early in the year. Now they're starting to get affected in their midfield. And to add woes to their injury crisis, maybe Patrick Cripps will get suspended for a fortnight. I don't think, Dog, that he should be suspended on precedent. So the table says he'll get 2 weeks, which he probably would from the MRO today. And then they'll take it to the tribunal, and I think they should use the precedent of Willie Rioli's hit on Matt Rowell in round 1.
Yep.
He got 1 week, took it to the tribunal, and was overturned and was allowed to play. So I think they should use that as precedent. And I think if that is there as precedent, which it is,
Yep.
they can't suspend him. No. I think it's a clear-cut case. However, I think most of the football world think he'll be suspended, and then that blows up their hopes of playing
It does.
finals.
It was a footy action as far as I'm concerned. Archie was sitting under that high ball, and he's just come crashing in. Unfortunately, he got concussed.
That was a footy
But-
accident, absolutely. It was a bang-bang play.
Was.
Like, he's got every right to go and
Fly for
contest
that
that
ball.
ball in the air. Even though it was a marking contest, the ball was in the air.
Correct.
He had every right to jump up for that.
No doubt. I remember. So your precedent is absolutely spot on with the Willie Rowley one. I just remember like 5 or 6 years ago, very similar thing, and Zeeble ended up getting like 4 weeks, remember? Which was just so out of whack with everything. So
are they allowed to
who
use?
knows?
They're
what-
not allowed,
you're not allowed to use
from,
precedent.
yeah, but you're allowed to use precedent, but I don't think from previous years.
Right.
You're absolutely allowed to use
You are?
precedent. So that was brought in. I'm not sure how far back they're allowed to go.
Yeah.
But geez, it's a fall from grace. Imagine being 10-2, and they was being spoken about as like premiership contenders.
Well, Mackay's fallen off a little bit.
He has,
He's
yeah.
not hitting the scoreboard as much as he was. And
And they've been dusted at centre bounces, which has been their one wood all year. We know Hewitt's injured now. Kennedy's been injured. Maybe Cripps gets suspended. Pitnout was an interesting one. They managed him, yet he was an emergency, and they got slaughtered in
Big
the ruck
O.
by Big O. He was sensational for the line. So when Carlton get beaten in centre bounce, it's like you're going to play golf without all your drivers.
yeah.
So that's been a real problem for them.
Speaking of the tribunal, I know you listened to the podcast when you weren't here, JB, but now you're in the room. Can we just enjoy when Campbell was entrapped by Robert Walls and Mike Sheehan when asked about
Astonishing.
lying for Juddy? This is
11 weeks on, a probing question that could end in a very expensive answer.
Campbell, did you tell a fib for Chris Judd at the tribunal earlier this year?
Yes.
Mate, what were you thinking?
Well, I think if Mike had worded
Just
it another
excited to be
way,
on there, were you?
Yeah, he
if
was.
Mike had said lied to the tribunal instead of fib, don't you reckon that a fib was sort of
Whimsical.
He just sort of downplayed
A
it.
little white lie to your mum.
So
Mate, it was
Did
like
you-
an undercover cop getting you on tape, like it was a sting operation, is my point.
Yeah,
Those
but-
old boys stung you.
I was happy. I was happy for the truth to get out there.
Oh, is that right? And
Really?
15 grand.
Held me in good
Even when
stead.
you paid the 15 grand.
Yeah. And I sent Juddy an invoice just after that, and I didn't hear back from him.
Now, don't tell me a little fib here. Did a very wealthy Hawthorn benefactor pay for that fine?
Jeff Kennett.
Absolutely not.
Oh,
No, it came straight out of my pay the next day. Yeah.
Who paid more fines over their career, you or Campbell, Jamie?
I paid a few, yeah. Most of the time I got suspended when I actually got reported. So
you committed to it. Campbell was a bit
Yeah,
soft.
that's right. You were a bit of a softie.
Yeah, I definitely paid for that. I do remember the line in the sand game. I got 4 weeks, and I was still on match payments because it was only my third year. And the old man went down to see Jason Dunstall, who was the acting interim CEO at the time. He said, "Look, I don't think it's fair that Campbell, he got fined for wrestling, he got fined for melee. He's now going to miss 4 match payments because of something that you and Dermy sort of insinuated that they should do."
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, sorry." Jason goes, "Sorry, Mel, that's just the way it is, you know." And old man pulled out a $1 coin and said, "I'll tell you what, flip it. Heads, you pay Campbell's matches. Tails, you don't." And Jason goes, "Are you serious?" And he goes, yeah. Flipped it. Heads, I got paid.
Oh!
Mel
nice.
got him.
And you know that's
nice.
a salary cap breach. So once the AFL
he's done it
investigators
again.
hear this podcast, you'll be fined another 15,000.
Hey,
You are the
good
gift
luck
that just
getting out of
keeps
me
ringing.
now, mate.
However, do you realise though? It's a tax deduction.
No?
A fine. So Brown Dog was able to claim that on tax as a work expense.
Before we move on from Carlton, Dean, I think it's time now that Carlton are, likely to miss finals that we take Vossy. We love Vossy here in this studio.
Yeah.
But I think it's time that we take him for a walk.
And onto a hill?
Yep.
What do you mean? Well, you're sacking him as coach?
Oh, no, you'll see. Vossy, look out. Hey, Vossy, how you going, man? Yeah, you look good. Look out into the paddock. Yeah.
My man on it. My inspirational
Sack
captain.
Voss.
Let's sack
No,
Voss.
my
It's time for him to
inspirational
go, mate.
captain.
He's done.
Captain will lift those
He's done.
boys and they'll have a huge upset.
Now-
round 23 at the
Pour him
MCG
in,
next
pour him in
Sunday.
Coke. Can of
Vossy-
Coke. Remember his...
Vossy, if you're listening, you know we're joking because he will beat the piss out of us, Brody. You know that.
I
Shoot him
saw
again.
his son play on Saturday too for Frankston. He goes okay.
Really?
Vossy's son.
Casey. Was he playing for
Jackson,
Jackson Voss?
Oi, this
please
is,
tell me.
who gives a
Please tell me that that's his son.
No, it's not his son.
Oh, yes.
He's only got one son. So, but talking about VFL, are you commentating VFL on the weekend?
Yeah. Frankston versus Box
Well,
Hill.
it reminded me yesterday.
blockbuster.
I got told a story yesterday afternoon when Jason Bennett was calling the football. He's calling Brisbane Carlton game. And one of the Fox Footy staff regaled me in a story about one day that you were calling a VFL game with Jason Bennett. And as we know, Jason not only likes to call the game, he likes.
I turned Campbell's mic off because I want to hear all this.
he likes the special comment as well.
Yeah.
And there was this situation and boundary and do all that stuff as well. And there was a situation during a game where. Jason kept trying to jump in with a special comment, and Jason put his arm across you and took over the comment and insisted on he continue on. And then in the ad break, they got there, and Campbell, you turned to Jason and said, "If you ever do that again, I'll knock you out."
To a commentator.
Now, that's not entirely true. No. What I did say, because he had his hand up, sort of like
put
in
his
a
hand
stop
up,
sign motion.
Please stop sign.
So I said, if you ever put your hand up like that again, I'll break your fingers.
You wouldn't.
So,
there you go.
not knock out.
You wouldn't say that to someone like Pipe Russell.
Well, I would. I'd say it to anyone that put their hand up. in my
BT,
face.
you'd say that to BT.
Anyone.
Bullshit.
I just want to know that how Jason.
I
took
can't
that.
believe that Michael Voss's son wasn't playing Saturday.
I know, that's right. And I can't believe you threatened to break Jason Bennett's fingers. How do you take that?
No, it took it well. It took it really well. We have a very, very good relationship.
Bro, do you have a question for JB?
You've got some great callers at Fox Footy, some great friends, and some of the greatest in the game. You got Dermot, you got Pipe. They're the big names, obviously.
Hutto,
Buckley, Lyon. Who else you got?
Rewalt.
Yeah.
I'm a Kingy man, personally.
Kingy man.
Chief's underrated, man.
Chief's a great caller.
I love Chief.
He's a very intelligent man when it comes to football. I know he downplays it and he can clown around a little bit, but he's a very intelligent man when it comes to footy, isn't he?
I love the fact that at about the 7-minute mark of the first quarter in the Doggies game on the weekend, he said that Sam Darcy had already superseded his old man Luke in terms of possessions.
Really?
Yeah, because
that was nice.
I think Duke only had like 2 or 3 touches in his first game.
How good does Sam Darcy
Yeah, he looks
look?
good.
Oh, yeah.
He looks
Hey, do you
like
see
he's
his
a star.
kicking style? How his leg goes directly across his body like it's
Yeah.
like
It's
origami.
Yeah, it's
nuts.
origami.
It's wild.
I can't believe how tall the new crop of key position
But
players
agile
are.
as
They're
well.
agile, they're quick and tall. He's like 210 centimetres or something, isn't he?
We got some commentary here we want to have a look at.
Yes, but one of the great commentators from Fox Footy, and we do love it, is Kelly Underwood. And
Yes, Kel's great.
She's great. But she was calling the Essendon GWS game on the weekend, and she has she's made an error. She's had a mental blank, we'll call it. And just listen to the audio. It is.
So since Ben Hobbs kicked that goal early in the third quarter, it put them up, the Bombers, by 11 points. It's been 7 consecutive goals to the Orange team.
How can you forget an actual team's name? You can understand, forget the full name, forget the mascot. She's completely forgotten who she's calling.
Orange
Did she
team.
just say it like as another way to say GWS, or do you legit think those words escaped her?
Mate, the words escaped her because you can tell there's that pause. Go again.
So since Ben Hobbs kicked that goal, it's been 7 consecutive goals to the Orange team.
Oh, we love you, Kel. That's quality.
Hey,
Her eyes were searching for the scoreboard.
speaking of forgetting, I've got some great audio here of our friend Nathan Broad. He comes onto our radio show on Nova, and he had to sing the Richmond theme song. Have a listen, first of all.
Oh, we're from Tigerland, a fighting fury, we're from Tigerland. In any weather you will see us with a grin, risking head and shin. If we're behind, we'll never mind, we'll fight and win. Oh, we're from Tigerland.
First of all, what a lackluster performance of it.
He didn't sing it with much gusto.
No.
But here's some of the offcuts.
Oh, we're from Tigerland. Oh, I can't even think of the song now, mate.
3 flags!
3 flags, and he's sung that on Premiership Day, and can't remember the
I'll
words.
defend him though.
Yeah.
It is a longish song, and it is hard when it's out of context.
Is it risking head and skin or shin? I always say skin. Risking head and skin.
It was risking head and no, the words changed.
Shin.
Remember that the words changed last year or 2 years ago. They were actually seeing the wrong words for all this time.
So it is shin.
Uh,
Someone on the WhatsApp
I think
thread
it is
tell us.
shin.
Hey, regardless, you claim that it's because he was out of a football environment. So, Campbell, right now sing the Hawthorn football
We're a
song.
happy team at Hawthorn. We're the mighty Fighting Hawks. We love our club and we play to win. Riding the bumps with a grin at Hawthorn. Come what may, you'll stay striving. Teamwork is the thing that talks. 4, 3, 2, 1 for all and all for one. The way we are at Hawthorn. We are the mighty Fighting Hawks. Woo!
Bang, that was
Brisbane.
Cop that.
All right, Brisbane,
go.
We are the team from Brisbane town. We wear maroon, blue and gold. Hey, hey, we will always fight for victory like Fitzroy and Bears of old. All for one and one for all. We will answer to the call. Come on. Go Lions, Brisbane Lions. We'll kick the winning... Just pause for effect. We'll kick the winning score. You'll hear the mighty roar. Roar!
There we go. You never forget.
I got the Kelly Underwood moments.
He's not going on the Masked Singer next, are you?
Browny,
No,
that's how you do it, son. It's back in a second. Welcome back to Brownie's podcast. JB, I want more of the guest list at your uncle's funeral. So we got Bristle, which was thrilling for me. Just the thought of you sitting back with Bristle.
Yeah, Uncle Billy Pickens' funeral down in Hamilton's fair drive, 4 hours, boys. I was hoping you did actually back-to-back podcasts on Friday, but yeah, it was interesting. I turned up. The great Eddie Maguire and Mark McClure walked in.
Oh, that's nice.
No, just right on the siren, you know.
Yeah.
So I thought, oh, geez, this is interesting.
Who do you reckon drove out of those two?
Well, they did.
McClure?
They didn't drive.
What do you mean?
They
Hang on, they didn't.
Well, no. Well, Eddie had rang me a couple of days earlier and said, mate, are you right for a lift down to Billy's funeral? I said, yeah, I'm sure I'm right. I said, why is that? He goes, well, I've organised the chopper. I'm going down to the chopper.
How do you say no to that, man?
It's Eddie Maguire and Chopper. I could say no in a heartbeat.
No, you say Eddie in a car because it's 4 hours with Eddie, but Chopper's like 45 minutes.
Well, I thought Eddie was going to be going down and going straight back. Thought I've got to stay for the family, have a few beers with the boys. I didn't realise, though, that when Eddie walked in, who was following like a little lapdog, Mark McClure.
Oh, was he?
Oh, and I thought, Sellers has caught the chopper now because, of course, Sellers and Billy had a great rivalry for about 10 years.
Yeah.
When Carlton-Collingwood rivalries were at that
He spoke
absolute
fondly,
highs.
didn't he, on the
did.
podcast?
It was terrific. So I walked out and I saw Sellers and I said to him,
He's changed.
I said, do you catch a chopper, Sellers? He goes, yes. And don't you tell a
Well, you're true to your word.
That's right.
Can you imagine, though? Can you imagine a 4-hour road trip with Eddie? Can you imagine that? Just Eddie singing 99 bottles of beer on the wall?
I like it.
Oh, no, but he loves Collingwood and Collingwood people, doesn't he, Ed?
Does.
He had the full Collingwood suit on.
Yeah.
He had the Collingwood tie on. I thought he was actually going to get up and maybe do part of the eulogy.
He
but
didn't?
He represented the Collingwood Football Club magnificently, as did all the other boys.
I think you mean
Magnificently.
magnificently. Hey, another thing, what we're just going to bring up. Oh, the NRL.
Mate, what about Ricky Stewart? I know pretty well. I love Ricky's passion. He's the current Canberra Raiders coach. He was a premiership player for the Raiders. I think he's premiership coach for the Sydney Roosters as well. He's gone back to coach his home club. And in the post-match interview on the weekend, he wasn't happy with one of his boys' treatment behind the play. Ricky, usually not that subtle with his wording.
You know, where Salmon kicked Tommy, he ain't on. And I've had history with that kid. I know that kid very well. He was a weak-gutted dog as a kid, and he hasn't changed now. He's a weak-gutted dog person now.
Twice.
Oh, my
Double
God.
down.
A weak gutted dog.
Also,
That's as...
dog. Also, he says that he was a weak gutted dog as a child. He's calling a child a weak gutted dog.
That's an assassination of someone's character, I would have thought.
You always call me a weak-gutted dog.
Yeah, but you know.
Imagine being described as that.
Is that one of the great drive-bys in a presser?
Hell.
Yeah. He's a weak-gutted dog as a child.
That would
And
never
he's
happen in
continued
AFL. Not on this planet.
Nah, you get fined if you're a coach and you said
I
that.
think old
in
Mel
AFL.
Brown may have been capable back in the 70s and 80s.
Do you reckon Vossi is capable of wigging out, losing his mind in a presser? Because he gets fired up.
No, I don't think Chris Fagan's the one.
You reckon?
Fags gets fiery. Absolutely. Fags gets a bit, he gets his back up with it. I love it. I love the passion of the show. But Vossi's a lot calmer now.
Bevo at the start of the season, remember that?
Bevo gets fired up.
Tom Morris remembers it too.
Where is Tom Morris?
Tom Morris endured the European summer because of Luke Bevo.
Not the
No,
worst.
not because of Luke Bevo, but there was a bit of a blue that led to something and then eventually led to Tom Morris getting the arse.
Hey, what happened with these Marmalade boys that put us on their Instagram?
Oh, so you boys would remember, and finally a video came out of all of us trying to kick a footy across the Yarra, right?
Oh, you were terrible.
You were the worst. You were the
Mate,
worst.
That was embarrassing.
Well, I'm not much of a, wouldn't say I'm much of an influencer or a social media identity. Anyway, one guy has gone out of his way to message me on Instagram. Right? I don't even know how he found me. His family, it was sitting in my Instagram request. His name was Darren. Right? I'm like, geez, that's weird. I never get Instagram requests. I got like 500 followers. Right?
So he's seen the kick video and thought, I need to communicate to Brody.
Yeah, so he's somehow like tracked me down. I wasn't even tagged in it, so I must have been. He's followed it down 4 or 5 steps and just messaged me one thing in all caps too, which feels like he's yelling at me. Yeah. He's like, "You can't kick."
Oh, that's nice.
I'm like, jeez,
Good
Darren's
feedback.
Mate, Darren has absolutely savaged me there.
He's spot on, and that's one of the main reasons I was upset that Marmalade initially didn't put out the video of all of us. Just the JB one came out.
Yeah.
Because I wanted the general public, the people out there, to witness Brody's kick.
Your dog.
It just kind of went end
was a
on
weak
end, but
gutter
not
dog
really.
kick.
How bad was it, though, dog?
Yeah, it was terrible.
Like, you just can't describe. Words can't describe it, can you? Like, you really need
Didn't
to see the
spin
vision.
right.
Nah.
It was very close to a barrel and it absolutely soared
Bro,
miles.
he's still playing footy. We haven't talked about your amateur
I know.
football.
We were meant to go down there and watch one of his senior games. Remember that?
Are you not playing? Are you not getting games?
Yeah, it's been a little bit frosty and a little bit cold on the game front. I'm just a bit tired. I'm getting old now. I'm 30.
There's no levels low enough for him to get a game in. Like, mate, they need to go to Z grade. Hey, just quickly, what about your team? Your hack team, Port Adelaide. I see David Koch hasn't guaranteed Ken Hinkley next year's contract, even though he's contracted. Your thoughts, Brody?
Yeah, I think, especially after last week's performance, the performance on Saturday, I think we're going to be in strife. That we just, we've showed effort against Carlton.
We know you're in strife. You're not going to play finals. I'm not asking you
We
that.
know you're in
Will
strife,
Ken
brother.
Hinkley be coaching next year?
Vehemently, yes. He will be there in 2023.
Does it suck to know that Koshi's making big decisions for the team you go for? Koshi.
Yeah, he feels like he shoots from the hip a bit. I'm not sure he's the man that we really want at the front. He's a great financial man. He has very high financial acumen.
Put him in accounts. Hell.
Yeah, but put him in accounts.
Do you remember it was only a few years ago that you guys used to sell a game and go play in China?
No, we didn't play
The China phase.
We didn't
How far
didn't
off do we
play our
seem
home-
like we're going to play in China? They're more likely to invade Australia than we are likely to ever set foot on China and play footy again.
Back in a second. Welcome back to Brownie's podcast. A shout out to the WhatsApp crew. A lot of admin that I haven't got to, including T-shirts and all that stuff. I apologise. I got a lot on,
Yeah, you do have a lot on, and I've got a lot on too across my desk for What a World!
No.
Now, this one...
Misdirection there. Did you notice that?
I've got two. I've got two What a Worlds.
Well done.
Neither of them are going to be the best What a Worlds that's ever happened, but this one caught my eye.
Don't sell it like... If it's dog don't do it, man.
Are you sure you want to burn two? Because you do this, you get very excited. You
Just
go, I can't
do
pick.
one.
And then next week we go, do you have a Water World?
Nah, I'm doing two. This is the greatest, right?
Oh, okay.
So we're in the middle of the Birmingham Commonwealth Games. So they only come around every 4 years.
Yes.
It's a really, really big moment for athletes.
Yeah.
Right? A couple of days ago, headline, runner's dreams crushed by his own penis. Yes. So I clicked on it.
Shervo.
Italy's Alberto Nonnino suffered a nightmare wardrobe malfunction at the World Championships when his genitalia fell out of his shorts.
How big's his hog?
Yeah.
The decathlon athlete was competing in the 400-metre event at the end of the first day. The 18-year-old started well out of the blocks, but he soon repeatedly kept having to stop and reach towards his crutch because his dongle kept falling out in a wardrobe malfunction, and he was furious. He lashed out after his privates were exposed. So I thought that was interesting enough.
The decathletes wear the loose shorts, don't they?
Yeah,
Loose
they
running
do.
Short, not like Shervo and them who wear the tight sort of leotard type things. The decathletes need it for different events, so they wear a looser, sort of fitting, higher top short.
His lawless python escaped the zoo.
Yeah, and he couldn't perform the 400 metres as quickly as he'd like because he kept having to stop and tuck it in.
So he was good in the pole vault, though.
Oh, come on!
That's nice.
That's good stuff, John.
So I wanted to mention that just because it's always interesting when a newspaper article goes
Javelin,
with it. They say private parts, and they went with dongle. So it's not a word that I use. But this next one, what a world, was a fascinating one. A footballer, right? His name was Mohamed Bouyo Touré. Mm-hmm. He missed his own wedding day in order to finalise a transfer to his new team. So he left one team, he got a transfer to another, which was Malmo, which I think is a Swedish side, and he was so keen to get across, show his new teammates and coaches that he really wanted to be there. He gave up his wedding day. He was meant to get married on the 21st of July in Sierra Leone.
Yeah.
Chose not to.
Understandable.
And instead, he sent his brother, so the wedding still went ahead, but he sent his brother to take his place instead, right? And I thought, oh, that's lovely. That's nice sentiment. The guests can still come and celebrate the wedding. So the wedding went unbelievably, up until the point that I believe that the brother might have gone and consummated the marriage on his behalf. So what a bloody world.
What a world.
Well done, Doug.
All right, see you on Friday, guys.